So one time when it's really useful to use the standard deviation is when we use it as a ruler. In other words, when we want to compare two things that are kind of similar but not entirely. For instance, in January, the mean high daily temperature is 36 degrees Fahrenheit with a standard deviation of 10 degrees Fahrenheit. And in July, that mean high temperature is 74 degrees Fahrenheit with a standard deviation of 8 degrees Fahrenheit. In each of those months, there was a day when the temperature had a high temperature of 55 degrees Fahrenheit. In which of those months was it more unusual to have that happen? So in order to answer that question, we're going to find the z-scores. So for January, z is going to be equal to 55 minus the mean divided by the standard deviation, which is 10, and that gives us a z-score of 1.9. That's for January. And for July, we're going to have 55 minus the mean temperature of 74 divided by 8. And that gives us a z-score of negative 2.375. So January's temperature of 55 degrees was 1.9 standard deviations above the mean, and the July temperature of 55 degrees was 2.375 standard deviations below the mean. And so it seems that it's more unusual to have that 55-degree temperature in July. Another way we can use standard deviation is when we're grading on a curve. Now, if we take a look at these quiz grades here, these quiz grades are... So for these quiz grades, we can look at the highest quiz score, and that's a 34, and the lowest is a 21. And if we were to calculate the percentages on a 44-point quiz, we would find that the 34 is approximately a 77%, and that the 21 is approximately a 48%. That's assuming, of course, the quiz is out of 44 points. So, if we actually grade on a curve, it might be helpful to us to use our data and use the mean and the standard deviation to figure out what grade we should receive. So our mean on the quiz was 27 with a standard deviation of 4.65. So what we know is that a 27 will be a C, because that's at our mean. And then if we add one standard deviation to 27, we have 27 plus 4.65, which takes us to 31.65. So that becomes a B. And if we have 27 plus 2 standard deviations above the mean, we get a 36.3. So anything higher than a 36.3 would be an A. Going the opposite direction, if we have 27 minus 1 standard deviation, or minus 4.65, we're going to wind up with a 22.35. And so those grades would be D's, and anything lower than a 22.35 will be an E. Less than 22.35 is an E. So again, 27 up to about 31 would be a B, 31.65 up to about 36 would be an A. Would be a B. And then anything higher than the 36.3 and higher would be an A. Okay.